In 1998, the best PC game of all time was released. I'm not talking about Baldur's Gate, or Half-Life, or Fallout 2, or Grim Fandango. Those games pale in comparison to the monumental weirdness of the dinosaur hunting simulator known as Carnivores. In this video, I'm going to take a look at 3 different games. The original release of Carnivores, the recent HD remake titled Carnivores Dinosaur Hunter Reborn, and the even more recent Far Cry Primal. I want to answer a couple simple questions. What do all of these games say about our relationship with extinct animals? Why are our games about interacting with extinct creatures always about killing them? Now, I might not get around to actually answering these questions, but maybe keep them up there in your head. Think about them while I'm doing this thing. So there are 3 pieces of media I need to talk about really quickly before we actually talk about the 3 games in question. The first is Ray Bradbury's short story, A Sound of Thunder. Originally published in 1952, it tells the story of a corporation that will send you back in time to hunt dinosaurs. Things go awry in the story, and human failure leads to the hunters returning to the present to find that their country has descended into dystopian fascism. The second is Alsprague de Camp's A Gun for Dinosaur, which follows a similar template. Time-traveling hunters travel to the Cretaceous period, but human interpersonal conflict rears its head and causes one of the hunters to be killed. In a bid for revenge, a survivor attempts to avenge his death, getting himself killed in the process at the hands of the time-traveling technology. Ooh, scary. The third is everyone's favorite Steven Spielberg movie, Duel! But seriously, Jurassic Park is the logic of the 2 previous stories applied to the post-socialist prosperity rhetoric of the 1990s. Instead of mid-century big-game hunters, we are presented with scientist kings who have managed to wrangle dinosaurs from the jaws of extinction. Things go poorly for these people. While the context is different, the message is the same as the 2 stories I mentioned before. During the 20th century, media about extinct animals and how we might interact with them has been associated with narratives of pride and mastery. Much like many other stories of pride, things go poorly for us. With that argument at least gestured at, or thought toward, or poked at, pick a word, let's talk briefly about Carnivores, its remake, and Far Cry Primal. Carnivores puts you in the place of one of the big game hunters in the kinds of stories that I mentioned before. When you boot up the game, you are greeted with a screen where you enter your name, and progressing past that point requires you to agree to a contract with the Dino Hunt Corporation that forgives them of any wrongdoing in the case of your death at the hands of a dinosaur. The stakes of hunting dinosaurs are pretty high. The play of Carnivores is simple. You land on an island, walk around, and attempt to kill the dinosaurs that you are paying to kill. You have to have a contract for those dinosaurs, and they're wily monsters that continually flee and run toward you with equal measure. I spent more than an hour playing the game recording this footage, and I was never able to actually kill a dinosaur. Sometimes the Allosaurus that I was hunting would clip into my vision for a moment, but no matter how much I bellowed and checked my map in order to corner it in, the dinosaur always eluded me. It was in fact very frustrating. I'm sad that I like the footage to show it, but the actual carnivores of Carnivores are horrifying. They come at the player with extreme violence, killing you as soon as they see you, and where the herbivores play a clever game of dodging into the fog of draw distance, the carnivores see you purely as meat, and they treat you as such. Thus we have the narrative of hubristic experience from both ends. You have to be prepared to push yourself to the limit of your skills to hunt anything in Carnivores, and God help you if the thing you're trying to kill has sharp teeth. The Carnivores remake is sadly a less interesting take on what it means to hunt dinosaurs on an island full of said dinosaurs. You're a very powerful person with a very powerful gun who can literally keep pace with a fleeing stegosaurus. Watch this kill. I think it's kind of disturbing, so be prepared for that, but I think it's important to see the whole thing. There's no punishment for feeling like you're a big, strong hunter here. Where 1998's Carnivores was a game that taught you a lesson or two about the finitude of the human and how much violence we could actually do, and if we could really compete with these monsters, these, giant dinosaurs, Carnivores 2015 is a pure power fantasy. There's no room for the dinosaurs to retreat into the mist, and you scramble after them. In this remake, you are the predator, they are the prey, and hubris is rewarded by the game. Far Cry Primal takes a position between the Carnivores games. It's a game that puts you in the leather sandals of a man tasked with taking his people from the brink of destruction to the height of their power, and he's willing to do whatever it takes to make that happen. Here, there is no such thing as a character who is too prideful, because you need to be chock full of can-do spirit in order to commit the extreme amount of murder that the game requires of you. Primal requires the player to charge into any situation with the maximum amount of confidence and skill, and that extends to encounters with the animals that cover the game world. There are cave tigers, bears, mammoths, and a plenitude of other creatures that either get in your way or test your skill to the maximum. Carnivores shows us that we shouldn't be so foolish as to believe that we can kill these primeval creatures, and Carnivores Reborn goes the other way by making us too powerful in relation to the dinosaurs that populate the Hunter's Island. Far Cry Primal lacks dinosaurs, but the fantastical past that it conjures up attempts to teach us the same lesson as the Jurassic Park-alikes. It shows us a violent and predatory world where humans are generally at the top of the food chain. At the same time, there are amazing exceptions when a cave lion or a bear charges you from behind a tree. It strikes a better balance between the destruction of ego in Carnivores and the trivialization of the dinosaurs in Carnivores Reborn. Hunting creatures from the distant past is always centered on telling a story about human capability and hubris. Our ability to overcome odds stacked against us is the story of the human spirit, and games about hunting capable creatures from the past are always ways of either supporting or questioning that narrative. Carnivores Reborn shows us a world where humans are always on top. Far Cry Primal gives humans a slight edge that pushes them toward victory, and the beautiful Carnivores gives us a world where we cannot have access to pride or hubris. Instead of being on top, we are merely in the world, hooting and hollering at dinosaurs, hoping that we'll get lucky with a single shot from a crossbow. If you like this video, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. If you really like this video, go down to the description and click the link to take you to my Patreon page, where for as little as $1 a month you can help me make more videos like this one. Thanks for watching.